welcome to a C# guide. In this episode I'm going to be talking about nullable booleans, and I'm going to start this off by saying you can have a null type of any data type. So you can have a nullable char or a nullable of any other type. So the reason I'm going to talk about nullable booleans is because I find this one the most beneficial. So what is a nullable? Let's start with that. So let's write a bool. Let's write a bool. I'm just going to call it my bool. And what a bool is, as we've talked before, is one bit of memory, and it takes two data types. This is where the most beneficial part of having a nullable comes in, because what a nullable does is it allows us to have a third value. So we're going to take up the same amount of memory, but we can have an extra value, and this is why it's most beneficial with bools, is because you can only have two values. So that's a 50% increase on your values with no extra data type with no extra memory needed. So how would we do this? What we would do is we'd put a question mark after our data type. So we could have a char, with the question mark. We can have a bool with a question mark. I'm going to stick with the bool, obviously, for this example. And this will be fine. So now we can have this equal true, false, or we can have this null. And that is our three types we can have now in our nullable boolean. This is sometimes referred to as three-valued bools because obviously the difference between this and normal bools is having three values. The only real other thing we need to talk about with nullable boolean is the logic operators. So with logic operators, you can't actually do the same amounts of operators as you can with a normal bool. So I'm just going to write this as nullable right now. We can have nullable here, and I'm just going to have a console right here. And we're just going to put nullable bool. So the reason I'm going to do this is I want to show you it running a null. You can see it returns absolutely nothing, as if we had a normal bool value, it would return that value. Okay, just quickly showing that. What we can actually do with nullable bool, we can negate it, same as before. We can negate this. This is still going to return null because, it's null. The opposite of null is still going to be null, it's still nothing. As if, if we had false, it would now return true, same as it would with a normal boolean. Change this back to null. We can have our ampersand, so let's have our AND operator, and let's just put in true, and this will work. We could also have an OR, and this will work. We can have a circumflex, which is an XOR, this will work, but we cannot have, a conditional AND or a conditional OR. And that is because with a nullable boolean is in play, there is no point in only check one of the values, because you always want to check if one of them is equals null. You may be thinking why this is, and I'm going to show you why now with the ANDs and ORs. So let's go back to our AND operator, and we're going to have our nullable and true. So we're going to run this, and you can see it will return null even though we have one of them true. But that's because our ampersand, same as before, is just checking if both of them are true. Because both of them aren't true, one is null, it's going to return null. We're going to move on to false, and you may think, okay, this is going to return null as well. But no, it returns false because it's checking if both of them are true, and one of them equals false, so it's like, okay, no, it's false. We're going to move on to our OR conditions, and we're going to leave it as false right now. So we're going to be checking if our nullable bool or our second value is going to be true. So let's run this, and you can see it returns null, and that's because it's not true. One of the values is null. So now we're going to change our second value. Let's change our second value to true. If I can spell true. There we go. Let's change our second value to true, and you can see it will return true because it has checked both and found that one of them is true. So you see, this is the actual opposite of the AND. So with a nullable bool and true, it will return null because it has a nullable bool in there. So I'm going to describe this more in a verbal way because I've shown you the examples, but this may not be sinking in. But the way to think about it is the AND operator produces true only if both values are true. If one of the values are false, it will return false. In the other cases, it's going to return null. So in the case where we had a null and a true, it returned null. Now in the case of the ORs, the OR operator is going to produce false if both of the values are false. If one of them equals true, then it's going to return true. In all other cases, it's going to return null. So in our case where we had nullable bool or false, it returned null because that is our education as we mentioned before. And that is everything within nullable booleans. So this was a very quick video. This is just because this is a very simple thing that you don't see many people use. So I just thought I wanted to get this on here. You know, it's something very useful for booleans in this situation. Or if you want to have a condition within your other value type. So say if you had a number, but you also wanted to have, you know, whether that number exists. And, you know, the usual case you would do that is using -1 or 0. We'll cover this more later. But the way you can do it with a nullable bool is say, oh, if it's null, then the number doesn't exist. And this is just a very interesting thing. You just don't see often. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to see more. And I'll see you guys in the next one.